Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Carl's Corner, where the block stays hot, where sports and social commentary reach you, the viewer, to remind you that there is so much in sport that reflects what's happening in our world every day. I remember as a young executive director, listened to the CEO of the organization that I ran and other nonprofits that fell under their umbrella say to others first and then to me after that I was flamboyant or cocky. And I was like, what? And I told him, no, I'm confident. But the reason I have to wear a tie to places like Rotary Club or speak with words longer than two syllables is because I'm not expected to be considered as such. So I say all that to say this in preparation to get into what we all witnessed this week in the NFL draft. Shedeur Sanders was the number 2 quarterback on just about everybody's draft board. Daniel Jeremiah at NFL.com, ESPN Sports, CBS Sports, the list goes on. Yet somehow, after Cam Ward and Jackson Dart went off the board in the first round, Shador had to sit there and watch Tyler Shaw, Jalen Milrose, and Dylan Gabriel get drafted before him. One of the teams everybody thought would grab Shador, Cleveland. The Browns interviewed him at the Combine, showed up at Colorado's Pro Day, and even brought him in for a top 30 visit. And then they turned around and drafted Gabriel at number 94. A guy ESPN didn't even have as a top 5 quarterback. But let's cut to the bull. This wasn't about performance. It wasn't even about potential. It wasn't about readiness. It was about the fact that Shador isn't built to kiss anybody's ring. This draft made it loud and clear the NFL, as well as other sports leagues, still have a real problem with Black men and women who don't fit into their little box. Confident, smart, fully aware of their values, and unwilling to shrink to make white America comfortable. You can pretend otherwise, but we saw it in real time. Ask the Ball family. Check with the Williams family, Serena and Venus, or ask Tiger Woods and his father. Shador did not fall because he lacked talent. He fell because he refused to play the game they wanted. He refused to say yes, sir, his way into a spot. He refused to hide who he is to make scouts and executives feel safe. And the minute a Black athlete refuses to play the grateful, smiling underdog, the smear campaign erupts all around them. Arrogant, entitled, nepotism. We know the script. We've seen the playbook. And don't even get me started on the so-called anonymous NFL coach who said Shador needs to be humbled. Humbled for what? Knowing he's great? For not bowing his head like he's supposed to be lucky just to be there? Tom Brady could scream at teammates, and that was fine. Peyton Manning could run whole offenses like a general, and that was considered brilliance. But Shador walks in with confidence, and suddenly he's a problem. The rules are different. They always have been. And we have to stop pretending as if they aren't. And while they were busy trying to clown Shador, look how they did Travis Hunter. The man was the number 2 pick in the draft, Heisman Trophy winner. Should have been a celebration, but what did the headlines focus on prior to the draft even? His father's probation and needing court permission just to attend. You can't make this stuff up, even if you tried. Not his work ethic, not his impact, just another tired, played out stereotype and narrative. It wasn't a slip. It wasn't an accident. That was intentional. That's how they keep the narrative in a chokehold. And let's be real. Some of y'all helped them do it. Some of y'all out here nodding along, talking about how Shador needed to be humbled. Some of you even used, some of you are so used to the struggling kid from the hood without having to be broken first. You don't know what to do except hate. I guess we needed another story that he was adopted by a white family and they took him out of the hood and turned him into this great NFL player in order to make you feel better about who he was. You're not mad at Shador because he's privileged. You're mad because he didn't have to bleed to be brilliant. Because his father did the work so he could walk a different path. And instead of celebrating that, many of us, y'all get jealous that his story doesn't match the pain or the narrative that we're used to. Truth is, you don't recognize greatness unless it limps in battered and bruised. But that's not on Sanders, that's on you. So here it is, straight no chaser. Shador ain't the problem. Travis ain't the problem. Deon definitely isn't the problem. The mindset is the damn problem. Heal yourself. Heal the part of you that thinks pain is the only path to purpose. Heal the sickness that says a confident Black man is a threat instead of triumph. Because here is the real deal. Shador is him. Travis is a star. Deon has been the blueprint. And if their confidence really shakes you up, it's not them that you're mad at. It's your own reflection staring you in the face. So talk your talk, spread your hate, stay pressed. Meanwhile, they're building a table so big, you're going to need a telescope just to see it from where you're standing. Now, we all know the Mannings came out years ago and said that Eli would not play at San Diego and thus ended up playing for the New York Giants, where he won 2 Super Bowls. And that Bill Polian, before the draft a few years back, said that Lamar Jackson should convert to wide receiver. More importantly, that it has often been said for decades in the NFL that Blacks could not play quarterback because they were not intelligent enough. So if we didn't have historical references to revert back to the arguments that you're making up in your own head right now, to refute everything that I just said, it might hold some weight, but they don't, because many of the attitude in pro sports has not changed even a little bit. So I would ask you this year to not buy Shador's jersey off an NFL site. Go straight to this man's website and give the money directly to him. I know a few years ago when Colin Kaepernick was blackballed by the NFL and people were talking about boycotting the NFL. It didn't happen because you guys can't live without your football. But I would ask If there's a way to hit the NFL in their pockets, buy directly from the athlete. Don't buy it from the NFL. If you really care about how these narratives continually get pushed on us or to us, hit them in their pocketbook. Again, thank you for joining into Carl's Corner. We'll see you next time. Peace.